Hey guys, David Patrick Green here, hackhollywood.com, hackhollywood.in. Hey, before we get started, I'm going to actually tell you the 5 biggest scams perpetrated on actors. This is going to save you years of time and thousands of dollars that you would have otherwise wasted. But before we get there, yes, I have one tiny little request, and that's please subscribe to my channel. Okay, and last but not least, I think this is my 5th acting scam perpetrated on actors, is the biggie. Casting director workshops. There's so many reasons why I call these a scam. I do believe they are a deliberate scam because casting directors aren't able to really offer any information that's going to help an actor in their acting career. All they can really tell them is specific things about what they like and dislike in their particular office. And if you try and keep a database of every actor, every casting director, and then try and change your behavior every time you go into a different one, I mean, that's not why they exist. They're not there to tell you how to behave. They should be making it as easy as possible for you to do well in their presence, not telling you how you should change yourself. But the reason why they're really problematic is, I mean, one, they don't really know what makes a successful actor because there are so many different things. All they get is what the person presents to them. Okay, so they don't know how the person got there. So it doesn't really matter to a casting director how you got there. As long as you can do the job, that's great. So the information that they're providing, even though it's ostensibly under the auspices of education because they have been deemed illegal and immoral by SAG and by the Attorney General's office, they have nothing to educate you about. I mean, it's really not something you couldn't learn just by standing in front of a camera, practicing until you're comfortable. Maybe you get a couple of friends and they can, practice distracting you and eating popcorn while you're auditioning, which is what happens a lot in professional auditions and even non-professional auditions. But they don't really, there's nothing for them to teach you. Like there really is not anything to teach you unless they want to do a full-fledged acting class that, helps you practice auditions. But these one-offs, casting director workshops is what we're talking about, offer really no value. And in fact, they create the reverse relationship between an actor and a casting director that an actor would want to have. Because as soon as you pay somebody to have access, that's how you will always feel. You'll never feel like you deserve to have access other than by paying. And so anytime you think, oh, I'd really love to call up so-and-so, I went to their workshop, but now you're like, oh, gosh, I don't feel like I have access because they told me, in fact, when I was at the workshop, they said, never call, never drop in, never do this, all just postcards. And that's why another reason why I really frown upon casting director workshops is because they tell you all these things, how to stay in touch, how to do this, how to do that. Oh, I read all my postcards, all of this stuff. And yet it's worthless because even if they did look at their postcards, what are they going to do with them? Oh, look, there's David Patrick Green. Here's he's been in some student films this month. And what about it? Like, what do you expect them to do about it? If you think that they're going to suddenly go into their list of roles and try and figure out what you're fit for, you're completely wrong. That's not how they work. The only way you'll ever get considered for a role is if you submit for the role or they already know you and what you're capable of, in which case they might just call you up and say, hey, I know you might be right for this. Do you want to come in and read for it? But otherwise, they're just looking at the thousands of submissions and then they go, okay, this person, that person, that person. But you have to submit for a particular role to be considered for it. You cannot expect, and they will not ever do, they will not ever then see your postcard and go, I wonder what we have that he's right for. Because first of all, they get not only do they already get thousands of submissions for every single role, but they're also getting thousands of postcards on top of that from all these workshops. And so what do you expect them to be able to do with them? Nothing, right? They're not going to do anything with them. So the only way, and this is, again, it's a lottery system if you want to play the lottery, but the only way it could possibly work is if you happen to submit and you sent a postcard that arrived the day you submitted, and they look at the postcard, and then they see your submission online, they're like, hey, I think that's the guy that sent me a postcard. But it doesn't really necessarily, and then they may go, oh yeah, I think he was in one of my workshops out of the hundreds I've done this year, and they might call you in as a result of that. But is that really, how you want to play this game? Anyway, guys, those are, I think, 5 of the biggest scams that are perpetrated upon actors. Some deliberately, some not deliberately, but either way, you need to recognize what is of benefit to you and pursue that rather than everybody else telling you, oh, do this, do that, and the other, because I'll like you better if you do it my way. But unfortunately, they'll like you better because you're just behaving the way they want you to. They're not having you behave in a way that actually helps your acting career. I hope you can see the difference. Anyway, I'm starting to get a little chilly, and I am out of here. I hope you like this. Like it, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and say hello at any time. Let me know what you thought of this, too. Talk to you soon.